Hold on tight. This is the Generic Live Show.
Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for Sunday, hour 2 of the program. Thanks for joining us. It's a pleasure, as per always. Dale Campbell here with you, whether you're listening to us live or on your hard drive now. Let's just jump straight back into the program here with no mucking around. Now, we did end hour 1 quite abruptly, and I do apologise for that, but we do have quite a lot to get to, so we didn't want to make hour 1 go forever and have hour 2 be shorter too, by the way. That's also another reason, but also wanted to have time to crank out an idea that was posed in the last video that was occurred on the previous conversation. So if you missed the last little bit of hour 1 of the program, we'll replay this video for you so we can have this greater conversation. It's about a coffee owner telling us about his costs of making a coffee.
Make one flat white. I mean, we start with our grinders, which were they're specialist equipment. They retail for about $3,000. We have 2 of those. Because if you don't have a good grinder, you don't have even particles in your coffee. And then when you extract, they all extract at different levels. So in working with that, we have an expensive machine that costs around $15,000. So right there, you're looking at $20,000 before you've even gone and bought any beans to put in it. So then once you start working with that, the milk costs our milk costs $1.60 a litre. Coffee costs about close to $30 a kilo. So a single cup of coffee, while it may only cost you like $1.70 or so in immediate costs, then you've got staff costs, you've got rent, you've got electricity, you've got insurance, you've got front of house, and all these costs just, it adds up. It's not free. You could make a cup for $3 and turn some sort of profit, but you're using very average milk, you'd be using low quality beans. I can't imagine that your cups would be environmentally friendly. You'd be using cheap cups. And I mean, while I could make a cup for $3, I only make things that I want to drink. I only sell things that I want to eat. So I couldn't come in here and smile every day if I knew I was selling a subpar product, even if it was cheaper than next door. People need to pay $3 for a cup of coffee. That's fine, but as an owner, I don't want to make it.
So that's part of a conversation that I thought I'd bring to the second hour of the program so we could have more time to flesh that out. Now, that all spurred from an article saying that your morning coffee will cost you 157 million hours on your mortgage. 154 minutes. I didn't even remember that. That sort of stuff. That's fine, and then there was this video that had a conversation on it that, here's how much a cup of coffee costs. So it was basically the opposite of the video included in the article was kind of the opposite of what the article was saying. So a coffee costs that much because of those certain things. People are buying it at more expensive levels, which is adding more minutes to their mortgage, which, whatever. Again, like I said last hour, it's in the budgeting, but I just want to dissect the idea of the concept of you wouldn't sell something you wouldn't buy. And I hold that theory quite a lot. I wouldn't make something that I wouldn't partake in myself, and I think having that opinion is either both a good thing and a bad thing. I mean, there's definitely a segment in the last last hour that I would like to have vamped up and made more interesting, but me personally made it interesting. That's something I would have interested in and would listen to, but I don't know if that's something that other people would find interesting or listen to. So that's also the fine balance. And coffee, I'm not saying coffee's the same as podcasting. Well, I kind of am, aren't I? Coffee and podcasting, they're the same thing. Both are available in vanilla. No, coffee and podcasting, now available hot and delicious. Podcasting and coffee, hot and delicious. But they're kind of acquired taste, and there's so many different types of coffee, and there's so many different types of podcasts. It's all about personal taste and how that personal taste kind of translates to you. And, well, the point of this show is to appeal to a whole different range of audience. Yes, it has that Australian focus, but that's just my biases, I suppose. But that's appealing to some people, I guess. And this show is also hot and delicious, just FYI. You might not see it yet, but it'll get there. Yeah, and yes, I'm just on the internet just now. I'm calling it at 10:17 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, at 8:11 a.m. Eastern Time in the US on Sunday, the 29th of October, 2017. Dale compares podcasting to coffee. I can now retire. Okay. Who wants to talk about another election? Alright, so I was talking about this last hour. Anastasia Palaszczuk calls an election for the 25th of November. It is a snap election, which means the campaign is less than 4 weeks long. It is precisely 28 days long. We have important information for you to hear in just a second. An anti-coal miner protester invades the stage when the Premier announces that. We've got the opposition leader, and then we've got what Queenslanders want from this election. But I also want to bring forward a point that I mentioned last hour on the program, was the fact that it's such... I'm still not convinced which is better, a short election that lasts less than 4 weeks, or an election that is prolonged over a longer period of time. That sentence didn't make sense. Say an election campaign that lasts a year or so, whereas the news can be slow dripped and spoon-fed to you at a snail's pace. I'm not too sure which one's better, but that's the question, which is better. And also, another thing to take into consideration in this election is the rise of third parties and outsiders, which was a common trend in 2016, well, I suppose, and 2017 as well. But here is the Premier of Queensland announcing the November 25th election.
I'm calling this election to give business and industry in our great state the certainty they need as we approach 2018. And together, we have secured the lowest unemployment rate in 4 years.
Palaszczuk, will you stop the Adani mine? Will you not give $1 billion to the Adani mine? If you can, we need renewable energy jobs for Queensland. Renewable energy jobs for Queensland.
And we are delivering renewable energy with massive...
That is Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk there announcing the November 25th election. That's just an excerpt of the speech. Now, well done. That is a smart move, turning that around like that and having the audience turn around like that. I really do need to smile when I'm not talking. I just realised that. Anyway, so here is opposition to Palaszczuk. Tim Nichols saying that Queenslanders are crying out for leadership. So here is his response to the announcement.
Queenslanders aren't getting ahead, and the community is crying out for leadership. And that's only the LNP will be able to deliver that leadership. This Labor government is stuck. It's stuck doing nothing, and every Queenslander is paying the price. Be it the 30,000 jobs that have been lost or the record high youth unemployment. Whether it's the 70% increase in wholesale electricity prices under Labor, or if it's the $3 billion that's been cut from our state's infrastructure budget, or whether it's the ever-increasing personal and financial cost of Anastasia Palaszczuk's softly approach to law and order here, doing nothing is clearly not working for Queensland.
That is the response to the announcement of the election being called for November 25th. Again, less than a month. So here's the thing. Let's break down what regular Queenslanders want from this election. Now, spoiler alert, these may or may not be the same thing as they were back in 2016 for the federal election. Just saying. So, George Archie from Ipswich, which is a suburb near Brisbane, works in Parks and Gardens, and he says it was needed for homelessness and disadvantaged people. Quote, I see a lot more of people in Ipswich on the dole, which is the basically unemployment system here in Australia, Mr. Archie said. That is very, very, very important as well, because, you know, homelessness, I recently discovered through the working of the campaign last time that it definitely is a state issue, not a federal issue. So that's interesting. So the state does need to do something about our homelessness crisis as well. Mr. Behan from Mackay works in the resources sector and said temporary workforces are really hurting Mackay and the regions. They're going backwards in the resource sector. You have people working alongside each other doing the same jobs, but for temporary workers on $30,000 less. That's a shame. That's not good at all. That's definitely not good. That's, yeah. The Aldini mines as well is also a hot button issue for people in the resource sector. Miss Colette says, a university student from Brisbane, says that her two biggest concerns leading into the election were racism in the environment. Quote, One Nation's strong support, in brackets, it would be good if Labor took a stand and addressed, in brackets, Pauline Hanson's Islamophobia, Miss Khalid says. So there you go. Carl Jackson, also a university student from Brisbane, says that jobs were a big concern for young people. Labor hasn't revised its public servants sacked by the Newman government, Mr. Jackson said. That's right. There was a whole bunch of public employees that were laid off by the previous government that I don't think have had their jobs reinstated. But anyway, that's also another very, very important point as well. Now, expert analysis Anthony Green, we won't play the full clip here because we don't really have time to, plus also hour one is the very information heavy hour and hour two is the summary points, but he says that we might be able to play a bit of it, but the thing to watch is the third party in the One Nation, particularly, and independent parties.
Now, not only is there
it's still minority government, the new electoral boundaries still leave it as a finely hung parliament with all those new electoral boundaries, but then we've got full preferential voting and we've got the re-emergence of One Nation in Queensland, and that complicates the analysis. It makes any attempt to, both sides of politics need to increase their vote to win the next election. But both of them have lost first preference since One Nation came back on the scene. So there's no point about talking about two-party preferred results that everyone likes to at this election. This is going to be an election where probably 3/4 of the seats will be traditional two-party contests, but then you've got One Nation who will be competitive in a whole range of other seats, and how well they do, and if they take seats off either the LNP or off Labor, will determine what happens at this election. I think the key thing to remember, this is the first election for a fixed-term parliament. I expect that Labor will run very heavily on the issue of stability in government, that Labor needs to, that Labor will be arguing you need a firm one-party government for a fixed-term parliament, and that going for a hung parliament with One Nation holding the power, balance of power, is a recipe for instability.
That is expert analyst Anthony Green providing some insight into the Queensland election. And look, it is very, it's very cool, that there's an election, and elections are always good in a system like this, but I wouldn't have thought I would be covering an election this soon. Just saying. Alright, as we continue, here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. Now, Amazon. We all know Amazon. But did you know Amazon is now the size of a small country? As we continue, here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday, it's Dale Campbell here with you. Thanks for joining us. It's 10:21.
This Geek IO Podcast Network program is sponsored by Audible. They're the leaders in digital audiobooks on the internet. Choose from over 100,000 titles across all types of literature, including fiction, non-fiction, and periodicals. Try audible.com now and get your first 30 days of Audible Listener Gold membership plan for free. That's right, free, which includes one audiobook credit per month. After your 30-day trial, your membership will renew for just $14.95 per month, so you can continue to receive your audiobook credit per month, plus members-only discounts on all audio purchases. If audiobooks aren't quite your thing, well, that's okay. Audible also have a variety of radio and TV programs and audio versions of magazines and newspapers. There's something for everyone. Check out geek-io.net/audible for all of the details. And we thank Audible for their support of the Geek IO Podcast Network.
Generic Live Show is sponsored by ProXPN. ProXPN is an uber-secure VPN that believes you should be able to use the internet how you want to, by encrypting all traffic that goes through it. It keeps all of your data private, and your IP is completely hidden, so your location is secure. Keeps you safe from stupid Cable 6 strike rules and more. With everything going on, ProXPN is a good investment and is very affordable, and won't break the bank. Keep your traffic safe. Go to proxpn.com and use GEEK20, that's GEEK, number 0, GEEK20, for 20% off the already really low price, starting at $6.25 a month. We thank ProXPN for their support of the Generic Live Show.
Want a custom computer? Want to run the latest games at the highest graphics with no lag? Want to build a computer that can make and edit movies or videos like them they're professionals? Pugent Systems has your solution. Go to geek-io.net/Pugent to build a brand new custom computer. We'd like to thank Pugent Systems for their support of the Geek IO Network.
8 out of 10 fictional doctors say that you should start your day the generic live show way. This is the Generic Live Show. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. It's Dale Campbell here with you. We're doing it for Geek.io. That's right. It's a very sexy edition of the Generic Live Show. Oop, oh, and well, I have just hit the wrong button. Well, fabulous. Great. Don't you love when that happens? There we go. Alright. In the meantime, Amazon... I didn't say... Yeah, Dale Campbell here with you. Well, there you go. Just in case I didn't, I'm going to say it again. There you go. Whatever that is. Alright, now we're back. Alright, so... Amazon! You know the great Amazon? Amazon? You know, they do online delivery, I believe, is what Amazon do. Who are Amazon? Actually, we don't have Amazon here, so there you go. We'll leave that for where it is. But they've just announced that they haven't announced, but their workforce is now larger than the population of dozens small countries. On Thursday, the e-commerce retailer revealed that it's employed, get this, 541,900 people at the end of the third quarter. That's a lot. That's a chunk and change. That's bigger than the populations of 63 countries and territories. That's a lot, including well-known ones such as Ireland, the Bahamas, and Monaco. Belize, for example, only has the population of 347,369 people. Sorry. As we can see in this chart from Statstar, type of company is that, which is based on the data from the company itself. I'm not reading that, that's literally what it says, the company itself. Amazon has been growing at a rapid rate. It added 159,000 people, 159,500 people when at just 3 months at the end of June to the end of September. Many of those have come through the acquisition of Whole Foods, but Amazon hired tens of thousands of additional workers besides. Okay. And it's not stopping there. The internet giant announced plans to hire 120,000 seasonal workers. These numbers are just too big for me. This holiday season, as it bulks up its US warehouses and customer service centers, and said it expects to make many of those full-time workers. Meanwhile, the company has said when it opens its second headquarters, it could add as many as 50,000 new jobs there. And this chart is very fascinating when it comes to the growth, and it's exponential. But you can't continue to grow from less than, say, whatever that is. That would be less than 25k employees in 2007 to 541,900k, and have that be sustainable. I don't think that is exceptionally sustainable. But in the meantime, a press release from Amazon.com this week announced its third quarter sales up 34% to 43.7 billion with a B. Operating cash flow increased 14% to 17.1 billion for trailing 12 months compared to 15 billion for the trailing 12 months ended September 30, 2016. Free cash flow decreased 8.1 billion for the trailing 12 months in comparison to 9 billion for the trailing 12 months ended September 30th. Net sales increased 34% to 43.7 billion compared to 32.7 billion in third quarter of 2016. Net sales includes 1.3 billion from wholesale food markets, which Amazon acquired on August 28th, 2017. I don't know if we talked about that on the show or not. I think that happened when we were on vacation. Amazon is buying Whole Foods, everyone. Enjoy. That's exactly what that is. So some of the highlights We'll go through some of these because some of these are interesting and others are not so much. Amazon acquired Whole Foods Market on August 28th, 2017. The two companies together will pursue the vision of making high-quality, natural and organic food affordable for everyone. Why are there birds tweetering outside my window at 10:30 at night? I do not understand. But anyway, upon closing, Whole Food Markets began offering lower prices on a selection of best-selling grocery staples in the stores, with more to come. Amazon included three new Echo devices. Amazon introduced all new Fire TV with 4K Ultra HD dynamic range and Alexa voice remote. Amazon launched Alexa Far Field voice control on the Fire TV and announced Amazon announced that you can call anyone with Alexa with the new calling feature. The Alexa Skills Store now offers customers with more than 25,000 skills. Tens of thousands of developers using Alexa voice service to integrate Alexa. Amazon and Microsoft announced that soon Alexa will be able to talk to Cortana, and Cortana will be able to talk to Alexa, so that'll be interesting. They can talk to each other. Amazon introduced Alexa and Echo are coming to India and Japan. That'll be huge. Amazon introduced multi-room music. Amazon Music is now available. Now features Alexa on iOS and Android in the US and the UK, Germany and Austria. Amazon Music Unlimited Amazon Music Unlimited launched for customers in France, Italy, and Spain. Amazon introduced Amazon Key. Amazon introduced an all-new Fire HD 10. Amazon announced all-new Kindle Oasis. NFL Thursday Night Football on Amazon Prime Video, with a total of 7.1 million views for its first 4 programs, which is huge, just by the way. And there's a lot more going on here. For next year, they're expected to be up to 60.5 billion in the next fourth quarter of 2017. That Amazon are just huge now. Just saying. I don't know. There must be something in the waters, but everyone is everyone's loving that Amazon. Why wouldn't you? I've heard a lot of good things. I don't use Amazon that much myself, mainly because I don't really have that much of a use for it, I guess. Plus, they're not really available yet here. They're not available much. Take 3. They're not available much here at the moment in Australia, so I don't really use them as much as I would. So there you go. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday, well, Shanghai Disneyland, the Disney park where everything's getting bigger. We've got lots of Disney announcements. We don't really do many Disney announcements on the show, so there you go. We've got some Disney park announcements for Shanghai Disneyland. We'll go through them all as we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. It's Darryl Campbell here with you. It's the Generic Live Show. It's 10:33.
Oh, listener, it is with a heavy heart that I come to you with a word of warning. Dark things are on the internet. I know, like me, you thought it was all funny cat pictures and sneezing pandas, but apparently there is also pornography, digital movie downloads and such. And people are accessing them secretly using ProXPN. To make matters worse, they're using our promotion code GEEK20 to save money while doing so. Even the regional sanctity of online services such as Netflix and Hulu are being bypassed in this way. That was not the intention of Geek.io offering you a discount using GEEK20 at checkout. So please, only use GEEK20 to save 20% at checkout with ProXPN if you're going to use it for secure and safe interneting while banking and watching the YouTubes.
I got bad news for you. Your t-shirt sucks. You should take it off and buy a new one. And the best place to buy a new t-shirt is www.geek-io.net/tfury. Because I can have a t-shirt, you can have a t-shirt, but you better not get it from anywhere else but T-Fury. I am JD, and I approve this message. Hi, this is JD. You know me from How It Stacks and other popular things that haven't quite caught on yet. But something that has caught on, that would be Think Geek. And everybody loves Think Geek because you can get Han Solo ice cubes, Daleks, sonic screwdrivers. Hell, I'm drinking a screwdriver now. But only because, I love Think Geek. And you can get all of those things except for, a screwdriver at geek-io.net/thinkgeek. And once again, I'm JD from How It Stacks and other things.
Enjoying what you're hearing? Then you can support us on Patreon. Patreon.com/geekio. This is the Generic Live Show. Thanks for joining us on a very dramatic episode of the Generic Live Show. It's Sunday. It's Dale Campbell here with you. Now, I'd be interested to go back or have the listeners tell me of how much the birds chirping in the background is, because for me in the studio it's very off-putting, and with that dramatic music it was just perfect that in that moment the birds tweetering in the background to the dramatic music was oh, tweet 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 tweet, ooh, tweet 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 tweet. So there you go. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday. It's Dale Campbell here with you. Now, it's Disney time. We don't do Disney time much here on the Generic Live Show. We don't talk much about Disney at all, actually, on the Generic Live Show. Huh. There you go. But Shanghai Disney, there was actually a bunch of escape articles that were written about Disney this week. There was 4 of them. So, I don't know, Disney's getting a lot of love this week. So, and why wouldn't it? Disney is amazing. I recommend Disney World in Florida. And A, that's the other one I've been to, and B, it is amazing. So, there's some very, very good reasons. So, Shanghai Disneyland, the Disney park where everything's getting bigger. Think you've been there before? Done that? Happiest place on earth? Take a peek into the future of the newest addition to the Disney family. Another Disneyland, Minnie and Mickey Mouse, are drawn, the biggest draw cards for photos. They're popular in China too, but photographic favorite at Shanghai Disneyland is the Garden of the 12 Friends. Here, punters line up to have their photo taken with Disney character Mosik. Wall displays represent the year that they were born according to the Chinese zodiac. Remy the rat, Tigger the tiger, Trumpa the rabbit, Car the snake, Maximus the horse, Pluto the dog, Ham the pig, to name a few. There's just one example of how the franchise has stayed true to the promise, delivering a theme park that is authentically Disney, distinctly Chinese. There are many... These parts are really distracting. There are many such firsts at Shanghai Disneyland, which celebrated its 1-year anniversary in June, that you can find... you won't find at any other Disney park in the world. And with that, Chinese not growing up on Disney characters, there's an educational aspect to the park you won't see elsewhere. Park guests... There were 11 million before its first birthday, are mostly Chinese, with an increasing number of foreigners coming to Shanghai to visit the new Disneyland as the city becomes more hub for international travelers thanks to its 144-hour free visa for transit passengers. So if you transit through Shanghai, there you go. Oh, am I lagging? That sucks. Damn, that sucks that I'm lagging. That sucks. Anyway, that sucks. That sucks. Well, I don't have the best internet connection, so apologies for that. But I do try. Main Street, US. I have a big jaw. Okay, well, good for you. Oh, okay. Let's cool out, everyone. All right. Let's cool out. All right. Let's cool out. All right. Main Street USA is replaced by Mickey Avenue, which introduced visitors to Disney and its characters. This is where you have your photos with Minnie and Mickey, Donald and Disney, Pluto and Goofy, and the Enchanted Storybook Castle at the end of Mickey's Avenue is bigger and the most interactive of any Disney parks. It includes a restaurant and shops and Biddy Bodi Boutique Salon. I'm definitely saying that wrong. And a boat ride attraction that goes under a castle called Voyage to Crystal Grotto, which is interesting to me. There you go. Alright, well, my internet sucks, I'm sorry. The Seven Dwarfs Mine Train sees a classic song, Hey Ho, recorded in Mandarin, and the Walt Disney Grand Theme in Disneytown hosts the first Mandarin production of Broadway's stage musical, The Lion King. There are 6 distinct areas or lands at Shanghai's Disneyland. In other parks internationally, you'll see Adventureland, Frontierland, Critter County, and Mickey's Toontown. Here, there's Mickey Avenue, Gardens of Imagination, where you'll find the Chinese zodiacs, Fantasyland, Adventure Isle, Tomorrowland, and Treasure Cove. That's everyone needs to cool out, please. Let's not do that. How do I? Okay. Let's. You know what? If you don't like the show, you don't have to be here. I'm just putting that out there. That is what it is. And M-Beam, thank you for staying here, but I can't do that because I need other permissions. So there you go. There you go. All right. Have fun. So, all right. Where was I? Where was I in all of this? The park is also expanding quickly with the 7th area of Toy Story Land well into its construction and set open to next year. There you go. The park is expanding to the 7th area. Toy Story Land. Well into its construction and is open next year, which that's cool. Who doesn't like Toy Story? I mean, and I know I'm probably going to get trolled for this, like I am currently right now. So that's there you go. You know what? We'll just have to deal with this off air. Anyway, again, if you don't like this show, you don't have to be here. No one's forcing you to be here. So there you go. And there you go. Alright. There you go. Alright, so... Alright, where was I? Toy Story Land. What would a Toy Story Land look like, though? Would it just be Woody and Alan? Not Woody and Alan. Would it be Woody and Buzz just running around? Woody and Alan, jeez. Brain is like mashed potato today. There you go. So the Fantasia carousel was created especially for the Shanghai Disneyland, with Chinese artists sculpting and painting 62 horses for the attraction. Which, there you go. That's pretty cool. All by hand. That's gotta be an impressive feat. You'll notice when you arrive that there's a lot of space at Shanghai Disney. There's paths are wider because Chinese like to visit in large family groups, with everyone from grandparents to babies. There you go. As for rides, you won't find It's a Small World or the world famous Spinning Teacups. Tron Light Cycle Power Run is the most popular ride at Shanghai Disneyland. There you go, Tron. Wow. Shanghai Disneyland pulling out the Tron. Again, it's something you'll find here, although it's been popular and they're building a Tron ride at Disney World in Orlando, Florida. So it's going to be coming over there very soon, which, again, Disney World in Orlando, Florida is where the party's at. Particularly Epcot. I love Epcot. And Animal Kingdom. Animal Kingdom is pretty cool there as well. Oh boy. Everyone needs to cool out. Alright. So, it's one of the fastest roller coasters at any Disney theme park, while many of the riders are the same as the rest of the Disney parks around the world. New technologies have enabled a rift of improvements. A lot has changed since the newest Disneyland opened, that being Hong Kong in 2005. The Pirates of the Caribbean battle for the sunken treasure like no other Pirates ride. It's immersive experiences as riders travel a majestically propped boat while Captain Jack Sparrow and Davy Jones battle it out on screens surrounding you. Even Disneyland favourites such as Peter Pan's Flight and Buzz's Lightyear Planet, I suppose this actually answers my question, Rescue have been supercharged with better technologies to make them more of a fantastic experience. Live shows are also prominent at this Disneyland as well, of course as well, because it wouldn't be Disney without the magic of a live show. There you go. And there's a little audio here of this happening, hopefully, and we'll get a commercial. Of course we will. Of course, because nothing's going right today. So of course we're going to get an ad interrupting the Generic Live Show, because fuck me, right? 70% of the food outlets are Chinese, 10% Western, with 20 being other Asian experiences.
War
as well.
is breaking out in mainland China after the newest Disneyland in Shanghai is stepping on some rich and powerful toes. Hi, I'm Chris Kohler from The Australian, and there is some serious trash talk going on between some of the biggest theme park operators in the world. And it could not come at a worse time for Disney, who recently reported much weaker than expected revenue figures for its theme park businesses. And that helped the overall share price drop by almost 6% in one day. So what they really don't need is Chinese entertainment and theme park tycoon Wang Jianlin, who's worth more than 30 billion American dollars, saying that he's going to drive the Shanghai Disneyland out of business. Direct quote from him. Disney should not have entered the mainland. We will make Disney's China venture unprofitable in 10 to 15 years. Shots fired.
2 seconds.
So what did Disneyland say back? They said the comments were not worthy of a response. So game on. Next up, let's check in on some robot.
Alright, so there is that. Alright, so there's Disney, and that took a left-hand turn real quick. I had a lot more planned for this segment, but you know, shouldn't let the trolls win, but sometimes you just have to. Sometimes you just have to, but there you go. Alright, as we continue, and thank you to M-Beam, who allowed that. We'll talk. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday, well, we're gonna take a holiday now. After all of that, we're gonna take a holiday because, by golly, we need it. As we continue here on the Generic Live Show for a Sunday, it's 10:50.
Hey you! Yes, you, fine listener of this program. You can help us become more than what we already are. I know, it's a revolution. Hold on to your butts, because I'm about to give you a URL address that could change our lives. Not really, but it would help us out tremendously if you went over to geek-io.net/support, so we can do a lot more than what we're actually doing now. That website actually has a lot of links on it where you can help us out monthly through Patreon at our Patreon site at patreon.com/geekio, or you can help us out once off by supporting those who support us. But then you can become the ones who support us, who support you, who support us. It's supportception. To continue this supportception, it's in your hands. Go to geek-io.net/support.
This Geek IO podcast network is proudly sponsored by T Fury. T Fury is the home of your t-shirt needs. Well, we're all geeks, and we all love wearing t-shirts because, well, society tells us that we can't walk around naked, allegedly. So we've got you covered. T Fury is the home of t-shirts with geeky designs from independent artists. What's there not to love? T-shirts, geekiness, indie. Yay! When you're ready to go check out the range, use our affiliate link over at geek-io.net/tfury so we can get a little bit of a kickback off any t-shirt that is bought from the hundreds of t-shirts available at T Fury. T Fury, the match made in heaven. A match made in heaven is not actually the T Fury slogan, although I don't actually know what the T Fury slogan is. Opinions
here at Geek IO, we're always happy to give some support to the little person. So today I'd like to let you know about a small internet startup called Amazon.com. Go to geek-io.net/Amazon to check out their large catalogues of books and magazines. I believe they may have some other items for sale too, records and videotapes perhaps. Using geek-io.net/Amazon lets them know you discovered them through us, and I'll throw a few pennies our way. Thank you.
We're here to give you a big dose of genericness. This is the Generic Live Show. Thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show. If you're still listening, thanks for joining us here on the Generic Live Show. I don't know what happened in that last segment. This is the beauty of doing a live show. You never know what's right around the corner, and you know, after 100 episodes, you still get surprised by some things that have happened, and I'm sure we're going to be talking about that in the after show. That we'll kick it to the after show, and I'm hoping that we're going to have a serious conversation. We can unpack some things in the post show, but that's for the post show. That's for the post show. That's for a couple of minutes' time. Are you kidding me? Quick programming note: there will not be a show next week in the regular time slot. Instead, we're doing Extra Life. Extra Life. That's 24 hours of Vegemite eating, which is very exciting. No, it's 24 hours of video game streaming to help with sick kids that need it the most. You'll find out more information at geek-io.net/extralife. You can find out more information there. You can donate and do all the rest of it as well over there. If you find it in your hearts, it'll be streamed live right here, twitch.tv/geekio show as well. So I send a message because okay, alright. Yes, we need more generic. We don't want more generic Vegemite. No more generic Vegemite. Although cheesy might be the biggest, the best invention ever. Cheese and Vegemite, make buck off that. There you go. That's what happens. All right, so and we did just have a bad segment. I'm willing to admit that. We had a bit of a disaster, but how about we go on holiday? How does a holiday sound after the disaster that was just there? We need to have a holiday, but for Australians, we're addicted to tropical islands. So whether it's to go to Bali, Fiji, Phuket, Penang, there's always a holiday location in our midst. But there are different styles of holidays. 24 hours of trolls being dipped in Vegemite. Yes, M-Beam, yes. All of the yes. I'm fully down for 24 hours. That's why I'm being super secretive about the show next, the generic live show thing we're doing in Extra Life. We're actually just dipping trolls in Vegemite, just straight into Vegemite. Anyway, so holiday, island time corner hour. So if you're up for adventure, you always go to the Arroz in Portugal. You can always go there for adventure. You've got the Portugal's tallest mountain there as well. You can do volcanoes. You've got lakes, and you fly TAP or Arrows Airlines fly to airlines in Lisbon and Porto. Temperatures are mild all year round. Avoid rainy season, which is November to March, and room rates start at €155. The History Island. If you like history, you go to Gotland in Sweden. Sweden, the largest island in the Baltic Sea, as well as a population of 57,000. You can skip the beaches and head straight to the town of Visby, where you'll find history like no other. You can go to the Culture Island, Montreal, Canada, which is the island. You can go there. Our population is about 1.7 million. Montreal is a historic centre and boasts of a variety of museums, but the city's cultural credentials on the rest of an extraordinary calendar of festivals around 100 a year. The Foodie Island, you can go to Sicily in Italy. Population is around 5 million. Every region in Italy has its own cuisine, but this place is truly remarkable, leaving influences of many cultures that have conquered the islands for years, from Greeks to North Africans to the French. If you like wine, you can go to Corsia in France. The Nature Island is Hokkaido in Japan. The Frozen Island is Greenland in Denmark, or the Frozen ride at Epcot. Go back there again. Easter Island is the remote island. You can go to 5, and here's 5 more non-traditional islands to visit. San Juan Islands in the US, Belle-Île in France, is that. Solvesky Islands in Russia, Animal Island in Ireland, Chiloé Island in Chile. But if you must go tropical, you can go to Africa, there's Indonesia, Panama, you can go to Australia. Of course, by the way, this article, of course, was going to end with Australia. Oh, you know, you can go to Australia. Trollamite, yes. You know what, we're going to kick it to the post show where we're going to be talking more about Trollamite, which you can find at all good retailers on Twitch. So, Trollamite. Thank you everyone for listening. It's been a pleasure as always. You can find this show, if you've got any feedback, please do hit us up, genericliveshow@gmail.com, facebook.com/genericliveshow, facebook.com/geekio-show. Any pressing concerns, queries, hit me up. I greatly appreciate it. The generic island of Twitch, sailing off into the sunset. It's 11 o'clock.
This has been a Geek.io Media Network production. Copyright 2017.